Stop Asian hate and start by abolishing ICE. As Asian Americans, we know that attacks on immigration harms our communities. It's not a secret that our immigration system is violent and racist, and much of it actually started towards Asians. Did you know that Chinese migrants were the first illegal immigrants? The original efforts to police the US-Mexico border were designed to keep Chinese immigrants out. The Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882 was the result of a national campaign to exclude Chinese people out of racist fears. Chinese immigrants resisted the ban by entering through the southern border, forming connections with Mexicans along the way. The US responded by supplying special agents known as Chinese catchers to find and deport those without documentation. This became the origins of the US Border Patrol, founded in 1924. The same year that President Calvin Coolidge declared America must remain American and signed the Immigration Act outlining which immigrants are most desirable, effectively banning almost all Asian immigrants. Most of the ban stayed in place until 1965 with the Immigration and Nationality Act, which was won and fought for through the Civil Rights Movement. ICE is only 22 years old. Legally Blonde is literally older than ICE. The Homeland Security Act led to the creation of Department of Homeland Security and ICE. Muslim, Arab, and South Asian Americans were targeted, profiled, detained, and deported. Rather than to ensure safety, we know its true function has always been to expand surveillance and control over immigrant communities. ICE is now targeting all immigrants, indiscriminately showing up to places of work, snatching people from courts, hospitals, and even their children's schools. Southeast Asian communities are 3 to 4 times more likely to be deported by ICE for old convictions than other immigrant communities. As Asian Americans, it's our duty to fight ICE deportation and protect immigrants. From mass incarceration and exclusion policies to migrant labor exploitation and travel bans, our history of resisting border policing and detention goes back for generations. We end cycles of harm and violence at their root causes. Stop Asian hate means abolish
Yep,
ICE.
that's the way it is. Hey, beautiful people, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you for stopping by, supporting your girl on this channel. So, you know, I would do all credit goes to the creators in these videos. And guys, in today's video, now, today we are talking about Asians for Trump. Okay, so Asians, they align themselves with anti-immigration, right? The pro-Trump rhetoric, and now they are facing the same system that thought, or how do I put it now? They thought they have escaped the system, okay? Deportation raids are happening, visa crackdowns, there's detention, people are going to Alligator Alcatraz, and suddenly there is confusion, okay? They are sad and they are feeling betrayed. And let's unpack why this is happening, because I mean, you and I always knew that this is going to happen, because they think that one way or the other, their proximity to white, right, makes them feel as if they can be immune to the system, okay? Because the rhetoric says that if they can do it, why can't you? Okay, because the myth praises Asians for being quiet, hardworking, obedient, and many Asians that supported Trump, they believe that, okay, if they align themselves with whiteness, okay, they align themselves with conservative values, those conservative values will protect them. But you and I know, right, that voting rights, being legal, and condemning illegals will earn them a seat at the table. Because I mean, it's not as if proximity is protection. It's not protection. And you being close to power does not mean that you are part of it, right? Well, guys, because at the end of the day, they are realizing that they were standing on the wrong side of the table. Oh, this is so interesting. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Let's watch these videos and see what these creators have to say.
Hi everyone, my name is Eva Nguyen. I'm an Asian immigrant with legal documents and US citizenship. I understand that I don't have a big platform, but I would still like to use my voice to speak up. Today, I'd like to discuss the topic of deportation. Although I am a citizen, a lot of my family members are immigrants who have not gained US citizenship yet, but they still came here with green cards and legal documents. I understand that a lot of you guys are immigrants or have family members that are immigrants like mine too. But tons of Asian American only see deportation topic as the Hispanic issues. ICE doesn't just target people based on race. They target all immigrants like us. They target based on past records, immigrant status, and mistakes in the system. In 2025, ICE has deported over 150,000 people within the first half of the year alone. Fun fact, ICE is actually on track for deporting over 300,000 people by the end of 2025. And just a few weeks ago, a court in LA had to block ICE from doing broad sweeps in neighborhood because they were stopping people based on language and location, not actual warrants. Here's the truth. 65% of Asian Americans are born outside of the US. That means that the immigrants policy affects us just as much as anyone else. And it's not just undocumented people. Green card holders, refugees, and even permanent residents are being detained for old charges. When ICE raids happen, people from all backgrounds get caught up, and that includes US citizens. All because they just simply look foreign or speak another language. We need to stop thinking it won't happen to our families, and instead, start protecting our families. Here are a few things you can do. Number 1, learn your rights. When ICE comes to your door, you're not obligated to open the door for them unless they have a judge-signed warrant. Number 2, you have the right to remain silent and to ask for a lawyer. Number 3, do not sign anything without legal advice. Number 4, keep your important documents in a safe. Number 5, share the Know Your Rights card with your family members. We cannot let fears or ignorance divide our community. That includes whether you're Asian, Hispanic, African, or from anywhere else. But at the end of the day, we're all immigrants or came from immigrants' families. If we as a community chooses to stay silent, ICE wins. If we choose to stand together, not only will we protect our families, but we will protect families from others around us. So please, speak up, educate others, so we all know what to do. Thank you.
So many people asking Asian creators to speak up about the whole riots in LA and all these deportation things. What is there to say? We support the deportations of illegals.
Sir, you look like the immigration issue you're ranting about. So the projection is wild because you look very illegal.
Asian people aren't really dependent on, migrant labor.
The loss of immigrants has the potential for a full economic collapse because of significant GDP reduction, labor shortages, increased prices, reduced consumer spending and demand, and billions lost in tax revenue. An economic collapse affects everyone. Immigrants make this country thrive.
This presidency promised that they would deport illegal immigrants. They're doing that. Why are you crying? You see it like these immigrants are waving the flags of other countries, burning down the flag of the U.S., and then you think Asian people want to support that? No, they want to stay away from that. They don't want to be grouped in with these people. Asian people don't want to focus on the negativity and, say what they're really thinking. Deport, right? Deport illegal immigrants.
He is the embodiment of the model minority, which was created to pit Asians against other marginalized groups, rewarding obedience, silence, and hard work with crumbs of white approval. And he ate that up. Tap dancing for people who don't even want you here. No matter how hard you try to prove you hate yourself more than they ever could, and try so hard to distance yourself from the very people who fought for the rights that you now leech off of. You can grovel all you want for white validation, but you'll never earn validation from the same people who call you Kung Flu and China virus. Remember that? Kung Flu and China virus? You are not native. So how do you think it is that you were able to come to the United States? You think it was the whites who just kindly handed you an invite into our country out of the kindness of their heart? No, you got here because black and brown people far braver than you bled in the streets. The Immigration and Nationality Act of 1965 made it possible for you to live your American dream as the oppressor's lapdog. You're welcome. The people brave enough to fight out in the streets are the same people keeping you here. That fight going on right now is again a fight that you will benefit from just so that you can parade around like you earned those rights when you have never fought for anything in your weak little existence. Not your people, not your dignity, not even yourself. But be careful, because if they deport all of the people who fight for our rights, you might find yourself in an internment camp because who's going to fight for you? You don't even fight for
So guys,
yourself.
we know that looking at those policies, right, under Trump, ICE was not just targeting, or what am I saying? ICE is not targeting just undocumented immigrants, okay? They went after overstayed student visas, even legal permanent residents with minor criminal infractions. Even people who follow the rules were still caught up, okay? Because if you think a green card protects you, it doesn't. If you think that your citizenship is a shield, even that is being tested now, because you can't outbehave white supremacy. It just is not possible. They will always remind you, they will always tell you that you are not a part of us. Because let's just be honest with ourselves, right? Some Asians actually supported Trump, right? Not despite the racism, because they thought it would not eat them, right? Because they brought into respectably policies, they distance themselves from other marginalized groups, black folks, undocumented Latinos, refugees, and they thought, ooh, that's not me, okay? I did it the right way. That mindset is just rooted in internalized racism, because you think you are climbing the ladder, but you are just being used to kicking it away from others. Because when they are done with you, they will come for you next.
Why are so many Asian Americans so silent right now? That's because they didn't vote. Yes, they didn't vote because they didn't like Kamala from their internal misogyny or internal racism and felt indifferent enough about the orange man so that they thought that a no vote was going to the orange man. So the reason why they're not upset right now is because they voted for this. That's why. And that's not me excusing their behavior. I am a disabled person. I was advocating for Kamala before the election, so I had the chance to talk to a lot of my friends. They're not my friends anymore, but people in my life about how this election was going to affect me and people like me. And if they cared about me, why they should vote for Kamala. And they still didn't care. They couldn't care less because at the end of the day, it was all about taxes. Yeah, their tax break. The problem is, Asians that have a level of wealth feel this closeness to white people because white people were the only ones that had that level of wealth for so long that they feel like they're getting a chance to be part of the white club, but they're not. And if I could give an insight into maybe why Asians are like this, it's because a lot of our parents and like even my generation as a millennial, we have seen our mother countries very impoverished. Like for me, I'm Korean, so I know South Korea's history. Like South Korea was fully bankrupt in the 80s and saw their first economic boom in the 2000s. It hasn't been that long, and they're in like the top 20 GDP in the world now. That level of wealth growth, normal citizens see that and think, oh my god, if I'm just smart enough and if I invest correctly, I can also get there. And if you look at South Korea, it's an oligarchy. That country is ran by like 3 families, and the main one is the Samsung family. And they have so many scandals. They have done some bad stuff, and the country just lets them get away with it. And if you look at the election turnout, it shows that South Koreans are starting to wake up to the state of like, oh, we're an oligarchy. But Korean Americans, look at the past of Korea, see that you can still succeed, feel like there's a privilege of being in America, utilize the model minority method, and then try to enter the 1%. They think that they could break into the 1%. Wake up. You're not. You're not white enough. You will never be white enough. They will never.
Period. You're not white enough, you'll never be white enough, and they will never accept you, because that's just what it is. So this situation is just a case of F around and finding out, because you aligned yourself with anti-immigrant policies, right, anti-truth policies, and now, right, you are caught up in the same net that you helped cast. It is not karma. I don't think it is karma. It's just consequence of the action you took. Because if you think that justice is a ladder you climb alone, you are missing the point. If you don't stand with others when they are under attack, don't be surprised when there is no one left to stand with you. And you can't just assimilate your way out of oppression. So guys, I need to know your take on this in the comment section. Let me know what you think. If you have found value in this video, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe Turn on your notifications so you can know when I post a new video. And I'll see you in my next video. Please stay safe. Mental health is important. Ciao.